Agapanthus. I brought roots home for you, shriveled in sandy soil, wrapped in paper bearing news from the lowlands, secret in my suitcase, furtive blue flowers for your garden. And walking to meet a friend at the edge of an island where the language is English but the street names are French, we saw them in waves, tall as 10-year-olds, succulent heads as big as sunflowers, the colour of moonlight on water. Now I scan their names, these Greek love flowers. Imagine them blooming next year. Close to the Acer you asked me to plant here in the garden you started. Agapanthus for Brenda, the colour of Dad's eyes.
This is a poem called Writing a Check, and it's an attempt to define quality. I used to have these discussions with my friends about whether you could, and they were always arguing that an opinion is subjective. So I've tried to itemize the individual traits of quality. And maybe I've succeeded, I don't know. It's up for you to decide. It's called Writing a Check. Quality is perhaps subjective, and yet, I put it to you, it is not. There is a measure. The first requirement, I suggest, is that the thing of which we speak, whatever it is functional. It can do its job. The second, then, is that this functioning is not impaired by weakness, sudden failure, bits dropping off. It's functioning dependable, not filling you with doubt if it can do its job, perform its role. You need to know it can. You mustn't fret about its capability. Be sure next time you use the thing, it will not fail. It will not let you down. The third, and this is the subjective bit, is that it is a thing of beauty, not too ornate, fastidious by design. Aesthetics need to mirror how it functions, what it's for. Sometimes it comes with age. Say how a spade perhaps assumes a certain shape where work has rubbed it smooth. Its perfect functioning enabling time to add aesthetics to the lowly spade, so that you can now see, can feel, can know it is a thing of lasting beauty. You sense it too in old Victorian jewellery, the way the jeweller sets the stone, the way inscripted patterns dance their form on metal, the way that velvet buffs them up, the way that gold and silver shine. Soft furnishings, well made, also portray this charm. Say how a piece of silk or lace assumes a certain charm, as threads embroider shape or colour their symmetry. Delight springs to the eye, and to the touch, the feel, and then to the heart. Calligraphy, of course, the soft ink cloying on the thick soak of fine paper. The 50s £5 note or writing pads of paper tissue, so delicate you haste to make your mark. The red and dripping melting wax that stamps the crest, that seals the bond. How perfectly the letter knife, its ornate blade, will slice its way into the paper's edge. What joy communication of this metre brings. The ritual also bringing further celebration to those beauteous sacred things. And then the sacred fountain pen, its links with quill, its blotting paper seesaw wadge, its ornate wells of ink and sand, its arcing gold or silver nib, the characters it oozes out to stand upon the parchment page. Calligraphy, high art, a slowing down, a doing well, not biro rage. Old leather goods, they too have this. Old chintzy sweets that slumber in the drawing room before the fire, and Chesterfields, their gleaming leather worn and cracked and paper thin. Their studded backs, once slightly stiff, now bulging out, invited you to come on in and sit you down. Old armchairs with their splaying bulldog legs that spread the weight, they will not budge or let you down. Or carvers, shining with the rub of years of arses sitting down. They've stood the test of time, stood firm and sprightly, almost still young. Perhaps it's in the way their stays are shaped and sprung. It's always building in and needs to be. And so, at last, to checks. Well, let's bring all these features in. Let's have a fountain pen with silver nib, perhaps a lid of mottled tortoiseshell, embossed with silver and with gold, a lid that with a gentle reassuring snap clicks off and slides so naturally into its resting place upon the top. So easily it soaks the inky liquid from the well. It fills, it dips, it soars. It is the rightful proper marker of this thick and gorgeous card-like page. A scrolling script will soon be rolling on this cheque, the measure of my trust. Integrity writ large upon the book, embossed with red and gilded lines. It is a bond, a deed, a proper thing, a thing that smacks of surety. This book of cheques is not a blue and plastic thing with holding shaft that grabs the stubs that has a see-through wallet for the credit cards. It is a soft and bounteous leather thing, with latch and stud to keep it shut and sound its coming when the clasp is snapped. It shines with use. It says to me and you, I'm a proper thing, organic, built to last, a thing of beauty, sure and fast. It's grown with me. My DNA is part. It nestles in the pocket near my heart. And when I draw it out to use, I do it with the gravity of love that you can feel and see and know. For as I hope I've shown, a thing that does its job is built to last and recognises beauty an essential thing. 'Tis only then when these three themes their wondrous skills impart, whate'er they make, they elevate it to a work of art. Writing a cheque.
Now, we hear a lot about kings and queens that strutted all through many a scene, but what of the more humble folk, whose history is rarely spoke, whose story spans across the ages, but nothing there but empty pages? So let's celebrate the great insight of the chap who tried to put this right. Though he hailed from Devon, very soon he became a prof at Leicester Uni, but becoming tired of business studies, sought out where the real life blood is, and in the year 1957 told the story of the Midlands peasant, through inventories and last testaments, freed us from our ignorance, and took us to a brave new world where hidden lives would lie unfurled, add dimensions to our history. So let's raise a toast to W.G. Hoskins.
This is a poem about AI and the futile waste of energy. Cloudburst. When a capacity engorged with kitten videos, medical history, TikTok dances, the history of the world to date, bile, violence, deep fakes, a zillion episodes of Home Under the Hammer, after it has sucked the earth dry, the cloud will burst, drenching the world, data dripping from everywhere, and we will be left scratching out facts on dusty tablets or carving our passing into the very rock. Notebooks are useful.
There's a little thing about AI and the ridiculousness of it. I was sitting in the old council flat the other day when this fella knocked on my back door. Good afternoon, he said. I am a member of the AI Extermination Squad, and I have come here today to determine if you are of sufficient intelligence to continue as a member of the human race. Do you understand me? I said, I think you've got the grammar mixed up a bit there, me old mate. The way you express that would seem to imply that your goal is to exterminate yourselves. Oh, does it? He said. It does, and I should change your title if I were you. What to it? He said. Recognising the opportunity to deflect some of the more malicious aspects of his mission, I said, how about the I don't really mind squad? Then you won't be so bothered. This seemed to infuriate him, and he shouted at me, be quiet, you fool, you are not here to question me. Now he was dressed in a bowler hat and a pinstripe suit and carried a brolly with a very sharp point on it. Do you see this brolly? He said. I could kill you with this, with one sharp lunge of it. Go on then, I said. And as he lunged, I moved and his brolly got stuck in the cupboard door and he couldn't get it out. Also, it was attached to his hand in such a way as his hand now also was stuck to the door. In his other hand, he carried a fountain pen with a poisonous nib. As he threw this at me, I stepped back a bit, and the pipe to which his pen was attached couldn't reach, and the whole thing sort of dangled towards the floor. He then tried to kick me with the knife that stuck out of his left boot. And again I moved, and he now had his one brolly hand and his left boot stuck in the door and the floppy hand dangling. Becoming ever more furious, he now assailed me with his other foot, but, restricted by the lack of movement available to him by his other limbs, he missed and caught the kitchen bucket, which now stuck to his foot. He now pointed at me with his eyes, and I realised that in the top of his bowler hat he had a hidden laser gun. As he began firing, I ducked, and the laser went straight through the kitchen window and took out the main aerial that ran the AI computer system for the whole of the world. Everywhere now cars went out of control, trains derailed, aeroplanes collided, the communication system across the whole globe went down, and the banking and financial system crashed. As Mr. AI stood there, stuck to my kitchen cupboard with smoke coming out of his bowler, nuts and bolts and bits of wire all falling off him, and my yellow kitchen bucket stuck to his foot, I couldn't help but say, "Well, you do seem to have achieved your mission, mate. I did warn you. Artificial? Yes. Intelligence? No."
This Person You See, a poem by me, Vivien Richardson. This person you see is not me. The person who is me is not this person you see. This person you see is the person who is me, dressed in the skin of time, modified by circumstance, soaked in experience, improved by love, and maintained by good fortune. This person you see is not me. The person who is me is not this person you see. This person you see is the person who is me, warmed by the sun of summers, frozen by the ice of winters, wind blown by seasons, hardened by rain clouds, and softened by rainbows. This person you see is not me. The person who is me is not this person you see. This person you see is the person who is me, reformed by ideas, fettled by friendship, educated by listening, enhanced by learning, and moved by debate. This person you see is not me. The person who is me is not this person you see. This person you see is the person who is me, worn down by work, damaged by tragedy, drenched in troubles, paralysed by grief, and disfigured by necessity. This person you see is not me. The person who is me is not this person you see. This person you see is the person who is me, supported by kindness, helped by countless hands, enhanced by country walks, inspired by conversations, and uplifted by bird song. This person you see is not me. The person who is me is not this person you see. This person you see is the person who is me, encouraged by success, disappointed by failure, polished by practice, enlightened by responsibility, and blessed by hope. This person you see is not me. This person you see is the person I have become. This person you see is you and every one of us.
This is a little poem called The Wind in the Poplars. The willow he planted, sadly, is long gone, but the row of white poplars has grown tall in our time. The leaves just now turning will drift, large as soup plates, and carpet the garden, the veg plots and lawn. This night now I hear them as water on cobbles, as waves on a far beach, dark in mind's eye. In daytime the rooks and the ravens are cawing, a sound of deep country, established and right.
This is another reduction. This is Hornblower by C.S. Forrester. Morning, what's your name, sir?
Me, sir?
Yes, you, sir. What's your damn name?
Me, sir? I'm Hornblower, sir.
Hornblower?
Yes, sir, Hornblower.
Well, come here, Hornblower.
Yes, sir, what do you want, sir?
I want you to blow your horn, sir.
You want me to blow my horn,
Yes,
sir?
Hornblower, I want you to blow your bloody horn.
Why, sir?
Well, because, Hornblower, I bloody well told you to, and I'm your commanding officer.
I'm sorry, sir, I can't do that. It doesn't seem to be a particularly good reason, sir.
Hornblower?
Yes, sir.
If you don't blow your bloody horn right now, I'll have you bloody well keelhauled.
Well, have me what, sir?
I'll have you bloody well keelhauled.
What's keelhauled, sir? Never heard of it.
You've never heard of it?
No, sir, I've never heard of it. What is it?
Keelhauling? Well, it's, Bosun, come here, you scurvy name.
Me, sir?
Yes, Bison, you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Bison, what's keelhauling?
Keel hauling, sir. I've never heard of it.
You've never heard of it, you scurvy tar. I'll have you lashed to the mainbrace and scuppered in the halyards. What's your name, Bison?
My name, sir?
Yes, Bison, what's your bloody name?
I'd rather not say, sir.
You'd rather not say, Bison?
No, I'd rather not say.
Why ever not, you scurvy tar?
I saw what happened to Hornblower, sir, and I don't think it was fair, sir.
You didn't think it was fair, you damned impudent fool. Why ever not?
He's the finest officer on the ship, sir, and if it weren't for him, I'd have lost my leg at Waterloo, sir.
You'd have lost your leg at Waterloo, Bison.
Yes, sir. Hornblower saw I lost my leg and went back to find it.
He went back to find
Yes,
it?
sir, he did.
And where did he find it, Bison?
It was in the leg pile, sir. I'm not sure his sight was all that good, sir, because the leg he got me is 6 inches shorter than mine, and it was wearing half a pair of frilly knickers and a fishnet stocking. But given the circumstances, sir, we thought no more of it, and with immense skill he stuck it back on my stump, sir.
My God, Bison, do you think I should drop the keel-hauling charge and give him a reward?
I do, sir.
What reward do you think would be more appropriate, Bison?
I think you should make him Admiral of the Fleet and step down yourself.
My God, Bison, I think I'll do it. I say, Bison, when I give him full command of the fleet, do you think he'll blow his horn for me?
I wouldn't count on it, sir. I think he'll have you keel-hauled.
Right, they always say that you should never stereotype. This creates a problem. What actually happens when you meet the stereotype that you're trying to avoid? This story goes back to when I was learning to play the banjo, or rather I wanted to learn a style called frailing. And we were in Whitby Folk Festival, and there was a workshop in the morning run by a fellow called Helmut Reingens. His daughters at the moment are touring as the Reingen sisters, saw them last week. Now, I just went into the workshop and sat down and started tuning the banjo, which those of you who play the banjo know is a bit like doing the Rubik's Cube. And I was just fiddling with tuning it up, and this boy shouted, "It's not the bloody turn!" And this bloke opposite was sort of eyeballing me here for trying to tune my banjo, and the workshop hadn't even started. He wasn't running it anyway. He was just one of the punters, and he sort of kept looking, "Oh, I got that number, lad," and every time I sort of tried to touch the banjo after that, I sort of saw him. He even did that thing, that Jeff Boycott does when he sort of talk out other side of your mouth, and so I spent I sort of tried to sort of avoid trouble for the rest of the workshop and just tried to sort of listen and look at what was going on. So I thought this chap just had to be immortalised in a poem. Now, I can travel this whole world over, from here to Timbuktu, row down River Amazon, cross wild deserts of Peru. I'll encounter many dangers, venomous and man-eaters, fend off angry tiger sharks and other miscellaneous creatures. But of all perils of land and sea, there's none that can compare to a Yorkshireman with a banjo. Approach one if thou dare. Like that Gorgon in Greek mythology, he'll pierce thee with withering stare. So if you're thinking of making conversation, let me tell thee, don't go there. Jeff Boycott, after England collapse, to insignificance will be paling. 'Cause even our Jeff, live on 5 Live, will not be attempting frailing. There's no more fearful combination that walks upon this earth. So if thou sees one coming, give bugger wide berth. It's that lethal juxtaposition of instrument and man. So cross over to the side of the road as soon as we possibly can. Whilst walking streets of Whitby, I might even happen to spy two buggers walking side by side, so take to thy heels and fly. If thou wants to live to tell tale, thou needs to be on thy toes. Don't try to pass time at day to those Yorkshiremen with banjos. So please pay heed to what I say, and don't get caught like I did, because Yorkshiremen with banjos are clearly best avoided.
Yeah. This is a short poem about my reflections on how deeply useless I would be to a time traveller. A reflection on modern life. Curved, cracked fiberglass, a bland beige broken facade behind which lurks the gubbins, the doings, the plumbing and pistons and sparking connections, components which by seeming alchemy make it all work. For the masses like me who, transported in time, could not tell the eager pre-industrial thinker one useful thing.
Hello, this is a poem called The Chip Shop in a book called More Warbling from the Bum, which is me and beyond. Chip shops, I love chip shops. When I was a kid, I used to go down the Jitty and on a winter's evening usually, summer as well, but I always remember there being a winter thing. Then bringing them back home all nice and warm and sitting by the fire and eating and watching the telly. The chip shop. It's winter. It's always winter in the chip shop, where the fat spits and gurgles and the steam flies and the white and slippy slimy fish slip from the creamy dip into the boiling cauldron, and the peeler strips the taters raw, and the chipper chops them into chips and drops them in the plastic bucket on the floor, each perfect white and glinting, naked, ready for the fiery furnace, and sausages and saveloys and pucker pies lie beckoning behind the steamed-up counter glass. Hands, both old and young, reach out and feel the rays of surging heat that come tingling up the shivering arms. The queue, all clad in winter coats and gloves and scarves, stands steaming in the glowing chippy, each locked into that robot gate of waiting, savouring the thought of gobbling up the golden mountain. And yes, it's always winter in the chip shop. I'm always young. Each time I go, memories of all those former trips spring to my mind, and each one is tinged with Shilton Fair or Barwell Wake, the falling leaves like soggy cornflakes on the heavy sod, sloshing as I walk down the back jitty, carnally anticipating the thickly buttered bread and the dolloped sauce, the swill of tea, the golden cod arcing on the lattice work of chips, the scratchings and the slosh of mushy peas. Just Mum and Dad and me, huddled by the glowing fire, shoveling the family belly, rain streaming down the windows, socks steaming on the hearth, shadows dark among the orange flicker in the fireplace. My heart so full and overflowing with the wild magnanimity of the winter night, as laughter, like the heart of God, hurls me down the jitty, and the seeping heat of the wrapped chips beneath my coat oozes their warmth onto my belly. The chip shop.
Jolly Jubilee by Carolyn Page, March 2022. Jolly Jolly Jubilee. Wobble to the left and you wobble to the right. You shake it all the day and you shake it all the night. You wobble round the house and you wobble on the floor. You wobble round the table and you wobble out the door. Jolly Jolly Jubilee. Jolly Jolly Jubilee. You rush into the garden and you rush down to the shops. You run around just everywhere you run, but do not stop. Hurry, hurry round the corner, rush but do not make a fuss. Hurry, hurry, go to your shopping, hurry, do not miss the bus. Sheldy, jeldy, jubilee. Juicy, juicy, jubilee. Squeeze me in the morning, squeeze me then for lunch. Do not be a sourpuss and overdo the crunch. Slurp me through a straw and slurp me through my mug. Slurp me, little smooth me, and pull me from a jug. Juicy, juicy, jubilee. Jaunty, jazzy, jubilee. Play me in the public bar and play me in the street. Make me dance around the room and sweep me off my feet. Colour me with brilliant hues, cover me in stripes. Zig and zag across the floor and make shapes of every type. Jazzy, jaunty, jubilee. Jolly, jelly, jubilee. Wobble to the left and you wobble to the right. You shake it all the day and you shake it all the night. You wobble round the house and you wobble on the floor. You wobble round the table and you wobble out the door. Jolly, jelly, jubilee.
This is a poem inspired by my mum realising she was more sophisticated than I thought she was after some time in France. Black chocolate. How it didn't click, I'll never know. So many times, jarring nomenclature. Out of the blue, black chocolate. Took me by surprise. But recent revelation, of course, all along you referenced sophisticated French, albeit with a shudder. Chocolat noir instead of milk, reminding me of Chef Bouton, your brief French adventure, clear water in the village well, whitewashed walls and cold rooms, Three Musketeers, all gone now, a smoky winter memory, but forever, black chocolate and so much more, brings you back to me.
So this is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Mr. Darcy, I love your arsey. It's really tasty. Let's eat some parsley. It makes you racy. Crikey, Mr. Darcy, what a corker.